Should we do a quick rundown of what we were discussing?
Yeah, you can do a quick rundown of what we were discussing.
All right. John asked me if I wanted to do he asked me a hypothetical. He's like, who do you think is better, Donovan or Isaiah? And then I was like, I don't want to answer this question. I don't like comparing dunkers because people get upset. So then we started talking about all that. And then the conversation.
I said Austin catches strays.
Yeah. And then
and Austin said, what do you mean? And I was like, sometimes people just be like, what the fuck can he power clean 245 and I can't? Or why does he squat this and I can't? How's he have a 48-inch vertical and I don't?
Yeah. And then basically what I was gonna say is luck plays a huge role in anything, but you have to put yourself in positions where you get lucky. So to tie it to training, because we're talking like this is
why is Austin?
This is a THP podcast, right?
Wait, what did you say, Austin?
The context and the segue to that discussion was why is Austin in videos and I'm not, or like why the fuck is Austin around? Austin's not good at anything.
Yeah. So luck plays a huge role in life. I don't know if you guys knew that, but I think you can put yourself in positions where you get lucky. So like to compare it to training, I think testing your PR vertical, right? We always say the stars have to align. Like you have to high adrenaline environment, healthy, your training was good leading up to it. But if you've been putting the hay in the barn for a year straight, not missing a single workout, then you're probably going to put yourself in a position where you're more likely to be lucky with that stuff. So with the Austin thing, like, right, there could have been anybody. I could have, like, there's so many things that could have happened. Like I could have lived in Canada with Kilgannon, for example. Like that was actual genuine like opportunity that I got, or like me and Austin meeting and that type of thing. But Austin got quote unquote lucky because he loved dunking. He was passionate about it. He trained. He gave John a shot when nobody else gave John a shot in terms of coaching. He introduced us.
I'm really lucky with that too.
He moved to Florida. He literally went out of his way to be like, "Yo, can I hang out with you in Florida?" When like he lived in freaking New Jersey, and then he moved. We got along, right? So that's another. It's like the chances of us getting along together.
And we both needed a place to stay that we could afford, so we
yeah. And then we both move in. We're both broke as shit. Have no jobs. THP isn't a thing. But then we start doing YouTube videos together, hooping together, and dunking together. So I think there's a lot more variables that come into play than just like dunking skill, because there could be some like, freak out there, but like could be the most unsociable person on the planet that is weird, that doesn't like dunking, that like
we're not weird or unsociable at all.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Josh too, like when Josh came and lived with us for a bit and he was super passionate about dunking, and I was too, but like that wasn't the thing I wanted to do with my life. And I remember you gave him so much more attention than me with helping him, and I was going off. I remember there's this one dunk, I still think of this to this day. It was a lob from LA and I did like a 2-hand tomahawk in game, like on 9-10, and I was like, yeah. And then you were recording Josh. No.
Yeah.
No, I think it is. Like it is random.
Yeah, but for the random person who's probably not even watching this, but I do think this applies. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop being jealous of other people's positions in life. And I'm gonna pull this out of my Stoic handbook: control controllables. If it's out of your control, don't care about it. Like, and that applies for anything, and especially training. It's like genetics. Why the hell are you talking about genetics?
I would say too, like I'm very genetically gifted. I just definitely haven't had the best track record with taking care of my temple, and
taking care of your temple is crazy.
I was able to jump. I was able to dunk without training when I was really young. Like I do when I'm healthy. I'm fucking crazy. It's just like life definitely bitch slaps me more than most people, I would say. And then I let it control me.
Yeah.
I'm back on my Stoic shit. If you guys didn't know, I kind of led Isaiah down Stoicism, like the meditation and shit, because I was really into it. It was the only way I could stay alive mentally because I hated my life.
Yeah, before that, I was just a butterfly floating through life.
I was like, why are you always happy?
Yeah.
You think you've gotten sadder like more frequently, or you're happier more frequently since like, I mean, it does take away the goodness of
Good
life.
question. I would actually say I'm more like before it was like this. Now I'm like I have like less emotional highs. Like I don't get as sad as I used to, but I'm also not like my highs aren't as high as they used to. I'm kind of just like stable.
What do you prefer, like stability, or do you prefer like the feelings? Like I know people, like I know this is totally extreme, but like people with bipolar disorder, the
Yeah.
reason they stop taking the medications is because the highs are so amazing that like they want to risk it. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly I don't even think about it. In my opinion, like this might be an unhealthy way to look at it, but like I just try to take emotions out of the equation and just I try to do shit that I like, basically.
Okay.
Like if I find myself doing shit I don't like, then I'm just like, okay, something in my life needs to change. Yeah.
That makes sense.
I feel like I relate to what you said, Isaiah.
This thing,
Yeah, that's very accurate. I mean, I've always practiced Stoicism without knowing it was Stoicism. I would always just tell myself like, all right, control what you can control, like accept the rest of it. I think, in terms of sport, I always had that lens. Like that's why I fell in love with track, is that you are in control of what your performance is, right? Whereas like basketball, you have other variables involved that are out of your control, right? Does the coach like you? Do you practice? Do you get as much practice time as other people? Were you put in opportunities where you could succeed, maybe, right? And maybe you have to do more despite your condition or whatever else. Whereas track, it was just like, I don't give a shit about any of that. None of that matters. Like I still get to run the same race you do on race day, right? We all run the same distance. We all start at the same time. We all are jumping at the same bar, right? Like I can't control my genetics, obviously, but I can control all these other aspects, and I think in life, I've also started to take that lens more and more. Like, when I crashed my car, I was like, okay, I can't control anything at this. Like I have no control over the situation right now, right? Like I can't change the situation. I can't undo the situation. I can't go back and change the past. Like it is what it is. Now, at this point, I have to figure out what choices am I going to make moving forward that are going to help me get through the situation, right? Is it calming my girlfriend down right now? Is it figuring out how to tow it to my garage? And then from there, getting it to the shop? Like, what are the next steps in doing this? Do I have to budget? Do I have to get rid of this car? Like, how do you, move forward after something like that happens? It really is like control what you can control, because like there's no sense in being upset about it happening. Like, yeah, be upset for a little bit. That's normal. But like, don't let that ruin your day, or try not to, because you can't, it's out of your control. So when I get a lot of those questions about that stuff, especially when it comes to genetics, it's like, dude, this has like, why do you care? Like, why does it matter? It's like you can't change it. You can't control it. And if you take this mindset and you apply it to other areas of your life, you're just going to become a fucking victim. Like, there's no sense in doing that, and I get it. You're going to be upset about shit. Like, I always think, especially in relationships in the past, I've always asked myself, like, wow, I was this in my control? Is this out of my control? And when you involve other people, things even get more complicated. But, moving forward, the more I started to realize, or the more I realized, was that much of it is out of my control. And I can put myself in situations to succeed in said relationship or whatever else. But like, I can only control what I can control. I can control my emotions, my decision-making, how I treat other people, whatever else, and then move forward from there, and then it's like on the other person. So yeah, I definitely think in sports, relationships, everything else, like that simple truth has taken me very far. And then in terms of the highs and lows, I've realized too, like, I mean, specifically with the medication that I took, like my brain was pretty fucked up from, I don't even know what. I mean, I have clinical OCD, if those of you that don't know, and it's pretty severe. I get really kind of insane flare-ups where like just very intense, intrusive thoughts. So, it's like, do your therapy, take your medication, control what you can control. And I realized, now I don't have these, I gain weight more easily. I don't get as excited as I used to about things and stuff like that. But that leveling for me and not having those low lows is for me far and away better for my long-term like mental health and physical health and stuff like that. But that's what I've personally realizing and I would say been able to improve on over the last few years. I mean, you guys probably have seen it more than anyone else.
Yeah, definitely.
I would say think about how bad I was. Also, was my audio okay? Because I just realized it was clipped. Did it sound all right?
It was okay. It's better now, but it was okay.
There is a distinction though between suppression and controlling. And like I've always been really good at suppressing my emotions. Like whereas like I don't feel the high highs, I don't feel the lows, but then I have like random blow ups or I feel like I'm holding things in. Whereas like something that Isaiah and John are saying, suppression isn't control, right? It's just like holding it back, but controlling and allowing yourself to feel. It's a little bit different. I don't know how to explain it. You don't have
I feel like with that, I sit in my emotions and I don't respond. Like I feel the full extent of it, but I don't respond to it.
Yeah.
Like I will not speak. I will not act. I will just sit. And I'll try to like, it's almost like a form of meditation. I do it a lot actually. When I get really upset, like really, really upset, I'll do that. And I mean, there's situations where like, I don't care. Like yesterday, it pissed me off when the kid was like literally, I don't like when people disrespect others because they're jealous or like, it's just like something like that. But like a kid stepped in front of Austin's video because his friend was like, yo, get in front of the camera so he can't see any of his dunks. And I was like, dude, that is the most disrespectful shit I've like ever heard. And so he went to shoot and I just slapped the fuck out of the ball. Like, because he was standing right in front of him. And I was just like, I didn't say anything. I just like walked away after that. But you know, I think there's like a time and place for everything. Like in a sport, you know, sometimes you can let your emotions help you in some sense if you know when it isn't appropriate to do so. Like in a dunk session, where you're competitive, I think it's fine to let that loose a little bit. You know what I mean? To let go of the reins a little bit, or in a basketball game or something else. But as soon as the game's over, you sure as shit better like, calm down within like 5 minutes. Like, let it go. But what were you gonna say, Austin?
Oh no, I was just talking about like suppression and stuff. Like, and I was like thinking about like how if something bad happens to me, I don't feel it at the time. Like you guys have seen, I've been like until the situation's safe, and then I kind of mentally just break down for a while, and that's like not healthy. It's basically you have to sit in what's going on and don't suppress.
You definitely have a high tolerance when you're going through it, but then afterwards, when nothing's happening, you'll just fucking implode. And it's like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh no, it's because it's like my brain.
It's almost like it registers what happened, but it's like
no, it waits until I'm safe. I shit thee not.
Your brain digests it and absorbs it after you're done eating.
So say there's a situation. I'm like, all right, well, I need full focus. I need to I need to be aware. Like I need to handle things. Like I can't be emotional. And then I'll wait until the coast is clear, and then I'm like, and I just die.
Snaps your neck back.
But no, I'm like changing how I think about emotions though. With everything, it's like I feel everything kind of now. Like when I'm feeling it, I don't really suppress anything, and it's a skill in itself to like learn how to manage that because I'm trying to learn how to control things. But I went the opposite end. I just feel everything. Like I like if I'm sad, I'm just sad, or like I don't know.
What do you guys think about controlling your environment? Because
that's huge.
Because for me, that's probably the number one indicator of my well-being, both mentally, physically, honestly, training quality, everything else is like environment. I think all of us do a decent job at, Austin, I would say you less so. You're more willing to like sit in the shit. Whereas
not anymore though. I don't play with
well, not anymore, but I've seen you do it before.
Yeah.
Like last year, I'll see you just sit in the shit for a long time before you like make a change and like adjust accordingly. Whereas like Isaiah, you'll especially I've seen you communicate with me. You'll be like, yeah, no, we're not doing this, or no, I'm not gonna be in this environment or this situation or this, whatever. I don't want to live here, so I'm gonna go here. I'd rather have my gym here so I can control my ability to do X, Y, or Z thing, or I'd rather, if I have my desk here, or I have an office here, then I can do blah, 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 blah. I don't have to drive. Like, I think, and myself included, even just little choices like our eating habits or our schedule or everything else, like I've found that to be one of the most effective ways to improve my productivity, my well-being, my happiness, like all of that stuff has, and it goes back to the Stoicism thing, right? Like control what you can control. Okay, well, I can control most of my environment. I don't have to stay living in Pennsylvania or whatever else, if I want to do that, or if I want to train, or if I want track access, like I have a choice. I can control my environment and go somewhere where there's a track or live closer to it. I feel like that plays a major role, but I want to hear your thoughts on that, if you agree or disagree.
Yeah, I think that's everything. Like, kind of the mental model I take it through is like, all right, what's my goal? Like, what are like the 2 or 3 things I want to achieve the most? And then the second thing is just manufacturing my environment so that it's conducive to that goal. So like a small example of that, and it happens in like the micro level, like really frequently, because I'm really susceptible to distractions and like peer pressure, and like I'm just very easily swayed to.
I don't think you're. Yeah, I think you're way better about the peer pressure thing, dude. I try to peer pressure you all the time and fail.
No, but the thing is like what I mean by the micro is like, for example, I noticed over the last few days, and this is like something small. Like these are small things happening in my brain where it's like, okay, I'm watching a shit ton of car videos and modding cars and all that stuff, and then I felt like I wasn't doing as much for like THP, like business wise and stuff like that. So then I was like, all right, let me turn off the phone that has YouTube on it. That way I don't go on YouTube, and instead I'll read about like business shit, or like listen to a podcast that's a business podcast. And it's just little shit like that. Like there's always things that are kind of pulling me away, and then I recognize it, and then I like remove it, because I recognize I don't have the self-control to like, I mean, John has seen it. If I open Instagram,
it's crazy.
Like I literally get stuck in for like half an hour, and then I'm like, oh shit, I just lost 30 minutes of my time.
Like one time he came over in the morning because I picked him up for his car or something like that, and we were doing something, and I'm like doing messaging, and I asked Isaiah to look something up. He looks it up, and then next thing you know, he's just freaking doom scrolling. I'm like, are you doom scrolling right now? He's like, yeah, my bad. Goes back to it, and I'm like, but I remembered this, and he'll get sucked in. It's hilarious.
So it's like that happens. That happens all the time. And then like a different example with like with peer pressure is like weed, for example. Like I used to live somewhere where a family member was living with me, and they were freaking smoking every day, and then that was like the most I ever smoked in my life. And it was like, but as soon as you remove that from the environment, then I was like, I was good. Like, I don't do it like at all. Same thing with drinking. When I'm around people,
you don't really drink alcohol at all.
Yeah, if I'm around people that drink a lot, or like it's like being like pressured to do that, then I start drinking a lot. But I recognize that about myself, so I'm always trying to put myself in an environment where I'm not exposed to that thing. Snacks. If I have snacks in the house, they're gonna get eaten. So I don't buy snacks.
I could really use some snacks right now, actually. Thanks for reminding me, guys.
So it's like I don't consider myself having good self-control, but I'm good about having control over my environment.
Yeah.
I'm the same way though. Like when we talked about this the other day, me and Zay like actually talked about this. Is like when I'm by myself, it's like I have no snacks in the house. I have no alcohol in the house. I literally have the perfect sleep setup. Like it's when I like invite other people into my life, and that's the hard part, is like I don't want to deprive myself of the human experience and experiencing things and like allowing people in my life, but it depends on what the goal is. And I think it does come down to balance, but the biggest thing is definitely environment. Like I do have a little bit of a savior complex though, which I'm working on. And I think
savior complex. That's interesting.
Like allows me to get, I guess, sit in the shit. It's because like I care about people really hard. And like I've told you guys, like with certain situations in the past year, if it was like either of you two, I would have done the same thing. But it's like, it's kind of shitty because it feels like I have to be alone or have to be with somebody or have a partner that is on the exact same wavelength, which I don't know is possible. Because if I get anyone in my life that slightly throws me off kilter, then
that's like, where I'm like,
my training goes to shit, my productivity goes to shit, my meditation goes to shit, my like
I don't know. That's sometimes I feel like I'm like a little bit of a sociopath with stuff, because like I feel like I have the opposite of a savior complex. Like I have like
What do you
I have
use?
the killer complex.
What?
I said I have the killer complex. Like I feel like as soon as somebody I feel like is being toxic or like not can do like or, like the relationship's weird, like I just tend to like cut that relationship off.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how I think John died.
What just happened? No, the thing is, like, I think
My
it's like
dog fucking knocked the cord over. She's
Uh,
such a
what I
bitch.
said about like balance. So it's like
Hold
I was on one end of the spectrum, and you're on the other, and it's like whereas like you should be able to do that in times. Like for example, like with a certain person in my life, I cut off completely because I had
Yeah.
to. Like I'm capable of doing that now, but before I wasn't.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you know what I mean. I feel like that's part of the human experience though too. It just depends on like what you want and what you're gonna look back on. Like
Yeah.
is
You have to be really clear about
yeah.
like what you want from life. Cause like I used to be more on the extreme end in terms of dunking.
Mhm.
Like I would describe it like the Jordan Kilgannon like mode of thinking where it's just like everything is optimized for that.
Yeah.
Like Jordan has sacrificed like hiking, for example. Like he refuses to hike
Mhm.
or
I just hate hiking, but yeah.
yeah, like he refuses to do like basically life enjoyment thing, like experiences to maximize dunking or food and that type of thing. And then I realized recently, like I would say like in the last like it happened in the last like 3 years where I was just like, as long as I can get, 95%, not even 95, it's like 99% of the way like my training is good, my eating is decent. I love eating, but like it's under control. Like I'm cool taking a hike, like freaking go up a mountain because I know in the grand scheme of things, it's not gonna throw everything off. I'm okay with the risk of hooping, knowing I could potentially tear ACL. I could land wrong and like tear ACL. But I'm like okay with those things. I enjoy certain shit like more than I want to maximize like 100% the jump training stuff.
Yeah.
But
I would
That's-
say in
yeah,
the
that's
past.
oh, sorry.
What were you gonna say, Austin?
No, I'm saying like yeah, that's one of the extremes. Is like if you're okay, like looking back on your life, like and be like, all right, I did everything I could to achieve this goal. If I achieved it or not, like I still set myself
yeah,
up. And I
but
think
there are things that are like it's too much. So for example, drinking. It's like
Mhm.
I like drinking with friends and stuff like that, but it crosses the line of like, all right, this is gonna affect it too much. Like
Yeah.
there's like certain
Before,
things that I still am strict and about.
before you had a baby, did you find yourself drinking more, or when you and TT were just dating before you were married?
Mm, it's been like the same, to be honest. I got a lot more strict with it probably like 2 years ago, like 2022 around there is when I got more
How old's
strict.
your daughter?
She's about to turn 2.
Just saying.
Oh, maybe it's like a subconscious thing.
Yeah, I noticed that actually that you when you had your daughter, that was a big change. So my brother, the same thing. Like a lot of people I know, I think that that's like a
It's
natural
I will
progression.
say though, when it comes to that, the biggest thing that stops me. So having a daughter, it's like you have literally an alarm clock at 7 a.m. every day,
Exactly.
no
I think
matter
it's just
what.
the
So
condition.
you can't sleep in. It's like if you sacrifice, for example, if I were to watch a movie late at night and it ends at 12, I know I can't sleep in to 8 or 9. It's like I'm gonna be up at 6:30 or like 7 on the dot every time. So with the drinking and going out thing,
Mhm.
it's more so affected by the fact that I can't the next day I'm gonna be hungover and I can't sleep in.
Yeah.
And trying to take care of a baby on no sleep and hungover is horrible.
That sounds
Exactly.
terrible. That sounds
So
So that's
more
what I'm
so why
saying. I don't think it's necessarily somebody who's like, oh, I have a daughter, like she can't see me take a sip of alcohol. It's more like this is not conducive for me to exist. I am
yeah.
miserable.
And it's
Like
not even
pros,
training. It's not even training.
no,
It's
the
more
pros
so
don't outweigh
I'm
the
gonna
cons.
hate my life the next day.
No, exactly. And then I think too, like, when your wife was pregnant, it was probably like, well, she's not gonna drink. Like, what am I gonna do? Drink alone? Like what? So
Yeah.
it's like you look at 3 months prior to when she was born, and you guys had a lot of changes at that time too. I think that paired with the fact that now you have, a newborn or whatever, like, dude, you don't have the luxury to sit down and like have a couple beers unless someone's gonna
Yeah.
watch your
Yeah.
daughter, you know what I mean? And then even if they watch your daughter, you have to assume that they're going to watch them for 2-3 days, because if you do decide to drink, that you're not going to feel good the next day. And maybe they watch them for the night, but you got to wake up in the morning, you know what I mean? And take care of your shit. So I think, it kind of comes back to the environment thing and stuff, but, what you guys
I
were
also
saying
just
about,
realized I have to leave.
oh, he has a
I
haircut.
completely lost track of the time.
That's a
You
good
can,
thing, dude.
if you guys want to keep this going, I can go on my phone. I can transfer it over.
No, I was just going to say, kind of like, in conclusion, I was going to talk about
We didn't really talk about much training today.
no, but that's fine. I mean, that's the
I
point
think this
about it.
stuff applies though. Like,
Yeah, we
pretty
talk about this stuff
heavily.
every day.
I-
Really, this is kind of tying it in related to like how far are you willing to go in terms of your training, your diet, your sleep, and dialing in those little things. I mean, Olympians do it, but I will tell you through and through, like, you have to have a balance in your life. I think you will be miserable if you're not able to find some sort of a balance. Like, if you're a kid and you don't have a job yet, you need to understand that when you get a job and you're working from 9 to 5, like, you have to give yourself, an hour. 2 hours might be too much. And if you have a girlfriend, it's definitely, or a wife or a dog or something, or a kid, like, maybe it is just an hour where you can optimize that and build that into your routine. And that's normal. Like, I would say the majority of our athletes fall into that category. There are rare times in your life where you can optimize and take advantage of endless amounts of, like, if you're in college and you don't have a job and you're just in classes, there is no reason why you shouldn't be training 2 hours a day, sleeping well and eating well. You have access to everything you need. The only thing, diet can be a little bit tough, but especially if you're like a sophomore, junior, or senior in college and you don't live on campus, dude, like, or right after you graduated or you're in grad school, like, there's no reason why you can't optimize that stuff.
The college school that you get meal plans, like you get a lot of times you get like the shitty, like the food halls. Like,
And I'm
there's
not saying college is like easy per se, but it's just that you have more freedom, right?
Yeah.
Like, now
The-
for us, it's like we don't have that as much.
The
We
way
have a
I
lot of freedom, but
see-
not as much.
The way I see training now is like, I believe everybody should do something really hard every single day. I think it's really good for your mental health. It's really good for just being a human. Like, I think in general, like, it's dope to go through something hard, like physical, like something physical. And this is the medium through which I do it, and it's something that's fun as hell. Like, I love the result of it, which is jumping, and I love the community aspect of it. And before, it used to feel like my life was this, like this is like Isaiah is dunking, versus now it just feels like an addition. It's like there's Isaiah, and
He
dunking
also
is
is
something
good at
cool.
dunking.
And dunking is something cool that he does, and it allows me. I love suffering. Like, I love the stuff. Like, I love going to the weight room and doing freaking the bottoms up deep squats, and it freaking
But
burns.
why? Is it because it hurts, or is it because,
I
like,
don't know, dude. It's
I
just
think
like,
I think it's just that working hard, you just feel like you're building a better product. You're like, wow, like, it feels
yeah,
productive. It feels like you're making yourself better. It feels like you gain something from it.
yeah,
You get leaner, you get stronger, your muscles get bigger and stronger. You can jump higher maybe in the future. You leave and the effects of your body feeling destroyed feels good. And if you've
endorphins.
ever seen progress, it's the
Yeah.
best. I love it. I love trying hard though. I will say that. Like, trying your hardest feels so
Yeah.
fun. Like, it is the best. If I was just like,
Like-
I'm trying to throw this ball as hard as I can,
Bro,
or
there's
jump
been
as
so
high as
many
I can.
times where I've been mad as hell. Like, me and my wife like argued or some shit. And then it literally happened last week. I like freaking trained hard as hell, and then I'm like, never mind, I'm not mad anymore. I was being a dick. It's like,
Wow.
yeah.
Maybe-
But I gotta go though.
Yeah, you got to go. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you're interested in getting coached by us, or if you just enjoy listening to the podcast, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. But if you do want to get training from us, go to tspstrength.com and sign up for coaching. We are raising the prices soon. Isaiah and I have talked about this many times. We have a specific number in our heads. So if you're on the service, you will be grandfathered into your current price. So you should probably stay on. And if you're not on the service, I would definitely recommend doing it. We're the best in the biz.
soon.
Yeah. Oh,
You know I shaved my legs?
No, I didn't.
why?
Whoa, why do your legs look like that? Oh my god, dude, that looks like a
way.
bodybuilder.
I got tatted and it looked weird.
Bro, it looks good. Like, your legs
Why don't you show them
and
the
it's
new tats?
totally non.
Show them the new tats, eh?
Oh, it's covered.
How
Isaiah,
long
your
you
legs are
been training for?
crazy.
Bro, I literally shaved and it was like veins, like. Whoa.
I love it. All right. See you, boys and ladies.